Welcome to Bitches in Season, a podcast for everyone who loves dogs,
all things agility,
and some spicy tea.
I'm Lizzie.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Lindsay.
Bitches in Season.
Hi!
Hi,
everyone! Bitches in Season, back again for another episode. So let's just start, of course, like we always do, catching up what's been going on. Rachel, you just returned from a trip where you're still smiling ear to ear. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, I just got home from Pembroke Nationals Wednesday, and honestly, it was the best time ever. I wish I was still there. We had so much fun. We did agility, and we did rally, and Chessie killed it, and I got to meet so many amazing people. Agility handlers, agility PEMs, breeders that I know of, breeders that I just met for the first time.
So how many PEMs were there doing agility? And was it for only Pembroke Corgis could enter the agility trial?
Correct. That is the case for every single breed national. That is just a specific breed trial. So,
well, not all breed trials.
That's true. But for like Aussie Nationals, it's that way. And for Pembroke Nationals, it's that way. For others, I don't know. But for those two, I know for sure. We did have 222 entries on Monday. I'm not sure how many we had on Tuesday.
Wow.
But that's like all of the entries. So that was all of the classes that were offered. I mean, there weren't a ton of agility PEMs, but there were enough. Like, there were some pretty impressive ones. Maverick was there. I got to meet him for the first time. It was pretty cool.
Did you know a lot of the dogs beforehand or just know them from the internet?
I didn't actually. No, I mean, because a lot of them are breeders or more like they do confo, but then they do agility on the side. There were some people that I knew from our area that were there, and some other people. Oh, there was another competitor. She doesn't do breed. She just does agility with hers, and she knows an agility competitor that I've competed with at other events before, and she was told to like come and introduce herself to me, and she was very kind. So we chatted a lot while we were there.
And it was also super special because it was Chessie's first event back since July when she first had her shoulder injury.
Yeah, and so she did get a double Q on Monday.
Wow.
And she got third place overall on Monday out of all of the Masters PEMs. And that was like, she was like so close to Maverick in our premier jumpers run. It was like milliseconds off from each other. So that was pretty cool to see. But on Tuesday, I think she was feeling a little tired and she did drop a bar in each of our runs. But honestly, like she killed it and she was looking so good and she had so much fun. And she got me our first novice rally leg.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Your first time ever doing rally for real.
You should have seen me. I'm literally like, I had people helping me like learn the signs prior to like getting into the rally ring.
Just to recap, you took one rally class.
Yeah.
To prepare.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't recommend that to most people.
Probably not.
But you just think Chessie's such a special, special little perfect angel that she doesn't even need any practice.
That is correct. We did get a 95 out of 100.
Yeah, so you weren't that wrong.
It wasn't that wrong.
No.
And she only did one little tiny bork.
One bork. Is that how she lost her points?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That was the only mistake?
I did have a tight leash in the beginning, but then I realized it and I loosened it. But I would honestly, walking into the rally ring, I was shaking. I was more nervous walking into that ring versus any agility trial I've been to.
Were you more nervous about the barking or anything?
The barking.
Or yourself remembering what to do?
Myself remembering what to do, how to like, because we had a right offset serpentine, and for some reason it took me forever to wrap my head around how to do it. It's so stupid. And then we also had a figure 8, and I had to remember to go through the middle 3 times, and I almost messed it up because Chessie had just sparked prior at the prior side.
So you were all thrown off.
And I got all thrown off, and I was like walking really slow, and I was like, no, I think we're good. And we were, thank God. But
I'm not going to lie. I think it's kind of bullshit that dogs can't bark during rally. They're dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they can't be happy and excited. Like, I understand, like, screaming their head off or something, but like
an excited little happy bark.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly. It was like so I had to turn one way, and she went around the back of me, and she did a little bark. And it was like,
I think the best text was you got a photo of her rally and Ian sent like a zoomed in picture of her face. We'll have to put it on Instagram. And she looks really like upset and like, what the hell? And Ian was like, the moment Chessie realized she wasn't there to do agility and she was there to do rally, and she didn't get to like scream her little head off and run around. But she was still so good.
She was so good. And honestly, it was the best time. Everyone was so kind. I got to see Bowser's breeder. We caught up. That was nice. I met Chessie Sire's breeder, which was just like a fate because I had just stopped talking to Kristen, who's Bowser's breeder. And then I was like, all right, we need to find Debbie Cox. And I'm like walking around and then I see the back of a chair. It says Triple H Corgis. I was like, holy shit, that's her. She's right there. So I went up and she gave me a huge hug.
And you
she,
never met her before?
Never. But she was the first breeder I reached out to when I was looking for Pembroke. And so being able to chat with her and show off Chessie, and she was just like,
I bet she was just beaming with pride.
She told me, she's like, can you please send me pictures of her? And I'm like, I don't want to be annoying. She's like, you won't be. Please send me all the pictures.
Aww, that's so
it
cute.
was just like, I saw all the people I wanted to see. I met so many amazing people, and it was just like, oh, I can't wait to go back to another one.
So you would go again?
Yes,
10 out of 10?
100%. I think what I did was perfect for me. I think staying for part of the day for Confo was good, and then like just leaving after that, because I think I would have gotten a little tired of
I
watching
probably
it.
should have done that for
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah, I would say it's interesting because Lizzie, you felt a little burnt out after your first time going to Aussie Nationals.
I also feel like I probably should have brought Henry in hindsight.
Yeah,
You know?
just even to split up the drive.
Yeah, because
Having a bucket bitch was like
well,
key.
and not only that, I have 2 dogs.
Oh yeah,
So
true,
I
true.
didn't have just one. I had 2.
Your first time ever there.
First
you
ever
didn't
there.
know as many
I
people.
didn't really, So, I mean, I do think if I went to another one, I know a lot more people now and I've made a lot more connections.
I think
And
that's
after like doing agility, I made more friends with the agility and performance people than I did with the actual confirmation people. And I think it would be fun to go there just for performance. But again, I don't know if I ever want to do that 15-hour
having
drive.
Chessie for 4 years before I went to my first national really set me up well to like know who people were before
and,
I went.
That's a great point because like I had just gotten Cassie. Cassie was not even 2 yet.
He was
Right?
exactly 15 months. It was his first agility trial.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, right. Oh my gosh. I had not made as many connections as I've made now. So, yeah, maybe one day in the future, but I don't think anytime soon.
That's so
fair.
interesting. I really just don't have any desire to go to a breed national. It just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it would seem like it's going to be like a breed Disneyland and everyone's just bopping around and like there's
That's
just.
how it was for me, though.
Okay, no,
I
that's
know.
fine.
But no, some people just don't have any interest.
Yeah.
I really love my breed, and
Yeah.
a lot of the people are really kind. And I 10 out of 10 would recommend, at least for Pembroke's.
Oh, good for you. I'm
Yeah.
glad you had so much fun. That's
Yeah, she got
awesome.
offered like 5 puppies.
Yeah, I did. But
so-
none of them are fluffies, so I said no.
You're so funny because you're Miss like breed standard, but yet you only want
Like,
to fluffy
no,
corgi.
okay.
Okay, but I
fluffy.
do have to preface that Chessie got so much love by so many people because the breeders do love the fluffies. I know they're a huge fault, but they have a thing for the fluffies. Like, I was talking to one breeder who's really well known in the Pembroke world, and she was showing me fluffies she's had in previous litters, and she's like, oh, one of these days I'm just going to keep one. Like, they do really love them. And they're, another breeder I was talking to, she's like, they always have the best personalities and the best structure.
Oh my
Like,
God.
So even though they're a fault, they are really beloved in the breed.
Doesn't it feel kind of like corny and arbitrary that it's a fault then?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I had other
it's
breeders tell
so
me that they don't
silly.
believe that it should be. So,
Yeah.
It's kind of
there's-
like Aussies with tails.
Yeah.
Like, let's
Yeah.
just leave the
Yeah.
tails
Right.
on.
It just
Yeah.
feels like this outdated thing. Like, why does this still exist? Why
Yeah.
can't we just get over it and be accepting and like
Yeah.
breed great fluffy dogs?
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So, no, I do. I mean, I love the fluffies. I just do. And I'm
Miss-
allowed to.
Miss
And
Breed
they,
snob who loves
Whatever.
who loves her faulted dog.
yeah, but I don't want to do compo, so I'll take a fluffy any day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved it. I had so much fun. I could go on and on and on, but I will
Wow.
not bore you guys anymore.
Look at you.
I know.
Still smiling. Big
Yeah.
old cheesy grin. Well, I'm really excited because I'm about to depart soon for my very first time ever going to Cynosport.
Are you so excited?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Like, I think it's cool because it's an event I've never done, and I've really taken an approach with vision of just trying all the things. Like, what do I like? What do I not like? And knowing Cynosport was on the East Coast this year and that some friends of mine were going and I could kind of like stay with them and hang with them. And I've always heard like such good things that it doesn't like start at the ass crack of dawn.
Yeah.
I think the first day starts at 11:30.
What?
Yeah,
And the
I know.
second
That's
day
wild.
starts at 10 a.m. And then the rest of the week, it starts at 9.
Yeah,
Oh my
I think the
God.
walkthroughs are at like 8, not like in the dark.
Yeah.
As some big events are. And then like the
The
finals
swag bags too.
Yeah, you get like really cool, like nice kind of expensive-ish gear.
Yeah.
Agility
I
people
can't
are
wait
so
to see it when
easy
you get
to.
back.
We're so easy to please. We're like, oh my God, you gave me a Yeti mug. Wow. Like, we'll see what it is. But it's a Purina event. So I think they really like go all out for the competitors. And, you know, people have a lot to say about that. Like, yeah, the event matters and the courses and all that stuff. But things like the experience and like not having finals go till 10 p.m. and then have to course walk the next day at 6 a.m. Like that goes a long way. So I'm really excited to try it out. And I've heard the surface is really nice. And I just wanted to say to all of our listeners that if you're going to be at Cynosport, please say hi. I would love to meet you. And if you find me, I will give you a Bitches in Season sticker. We have our regular stickers that have our logo on it. And then we have all our little cute ones that say like justice for Obi and my dog is my boyfriend. So happy to hand those out if you come find me, and I'd be so psyched to say hi. So please do.
Yeah, and you can pretend that I'm there.
We can all
Yeah.
pretend and pour one out for Lizzie because she was supposed to be there, but instead she's
Just crying. on the couch.
bedridden, tortured, miserable.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fucking horrible.
Yeah.
I've cried more in these past 2 weeks and probably this whole year.
But you do have some updates. You got your cast
I got
off.
my cast off. I got my stitches out. My ankle looks like Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's kind of gross, and we just get surprise pictures of it all the time.
the
like,
time.
open up your phone, and there's just this like horrible,
Just like a horror
mound
movie.
of flesh, with,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
swollen
I
red.
have no calf muscle left. It's gone.
Yeah, you little
Yeah.
chicken leg.
It is. It's literally gone. I have my 5 weeks post-op appointment on the 23rd. So hopefully I get some good news. In 4 weeks, I can start assisted walking with a walker or crutches.
Oh my God.
So I'm not allowed to walk without
Okay, Granny.
assistance. But
Yeah, for real.
yeah. How much medical equipment do you think I'm going to collect over the next
Well, you're
couple
like
of
a
months?
big gadget girl.
I am a
like you're
gadget
like
girl.
on
Already
the
ordered
internet.
yourself a wheelchair.
She bought
Yeah.
this thing called an eye walk. Like, of course you did. Like, it's like a
And
robot
I will say
leg.
I've used it. Last week I had somebody come every single day, but this week my mom couldn't come 2 days to help me, so I had to go take the dogs out by myself because how else am I going to take the dogs
and
outside?
you were bobbling around on your robot leg eye walk?
Yeah, I
Wow.
did fall off the patio
Oh.
and I bruised myself pretty bad.
Shocker.
You didn't tell me this.
Yeah, well,
Jesus Christ.
I know.
Oh my
And
God.
I got right back up.
Okay.
This is how this started in the first place. Excessive falling and not doing anything about it.
I
Jesus
know.
Christ.
You know,
Oh,
what am I
wow.
supposed to do? I am doing my best.
You
here.
are doing your
Every
best.
single doorway to get outside has stairs.
Yeah.
So
We need to build that Lego ramp.
I
just sent you a
know.
picture of
Yeah.
a Lego ramp.
but I'm hanging in there.
For fuck's sake.
She doesn't like my jokes.
No.
Well, that's enough rehashing
Yeah, we
Lizzie
don't
being
need to talk
miserable
about
for
it
the third
anymore.
episode in a row.
We're all sick of it.
So let's get into our topic for the day is about agility foundation specifically. And this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart because that's the class I teach. Like
Yep.
I teach one night a week at my club and I've taught for exactly 5 years. This is the time of year that I started teaching right during COVID, which was
Wow.
crazy.
Oh my God.
I know, it's wild. I observed quite a bit before that, but this was when I had my first class and I've only really taught that level. I've never taught a coursework class just because of like, I have a regular non-dog 9 to 5 job and like availability at our club. And that's just the level I actually really like teaching. So I
think you're really good at it too.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I love teaching agility foundations because, as the name suggests, like if something has a weak foundation, it crumbles. So you have to really, really work super hard to make a really sturdy foundation so that if and when things, pop up later, you have something great to turn back to and say like, let's go back to the basics. And I also have a lot of empathy though for like the newbie kind of persona. Like when I first started in agility with my French bulldog and I showed up and the foundations class was kind of fucking boring. Like
Yeah.
I took a class where the instructor brought out like jumps and tunnels. It was like a foundation of dog sport class, more so at an obedience club. And I was like, all right, jumps and tunnels, let's go. And then I got to foundations and it was like go around a cone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stand on this box and put your feet on the floor. Like, fuck off. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
This is not agility. Like, this is really not what I signed up for. And now I spend one night a week, like, pleading with people to
do
like,
all of those things.
I promise you it's important. Please don't rush through this. So, yeah, I don't know.
wow.
Rachel, why don't you just walk us through, like, what Foundations was like for you? And I don't know, like, reflecting on how you approached Chessie's Foundations as your very first dog, with the only influence you had being Lizzie doing it. Like, how did you approach it, and what's your mindset about Foundations?
So for Chessie's Foundations, I did do 2 sessions of a Puppy Foundations agility class at a club near us. And I think they did a pretty good job, but I also had a great understanding of what the basics were as far as, like, you know, do a pivot on a bowl, or, you know, touch like a target, those basic things, like go around a cone, things like that, like to build up back end awareness. And I did like 2 on 2 off on a Kato board, things like that. So I was doing all of that stuff at home as well in the Puppy Foundations class. And then after that, I moved over to another facility, and I would say that my foundations were slightly rushed. Only because I think Chessie caught on very, very quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she took on to everything very, very well. And, like, you know, we did mat training for our dog walk, and we did not put her on top of the dog walk until after she was a year old. But once we started putting her on top of the dog walk, she was hitting and striding perfectly. Like, there was no, oh, she's jumping or leaping off the contact. She wasn't hitting it at all. Like, she just caught on perfectly. Same with the A-frame and all of that. So, you know, when we started like introducing weaves after she was a year and like putting things together, she took to it well. So we kind of just like went through it. I was like, all right, this is it. But then what I've noticed, there was actually one seminar that I went to, and the seminar instructor put stuff on top of the dog walk. And
Like a coffee mug
coffee
kind
mug.
of thing.
Yeah, it was a coffee mug and a travel mug. She was supposed to go in the tunnel under the dog walk, but instead she went on top of the dog walk. And because that stuff was there, it like freaked her out. And I never taught her how to turn around on a dog walk. No one ever told me I should train my dog to do that. And so she...
And you don't know what you don't know.
I don't know what I don't
not
know.
what you don't know. Yeah.
And it took us a week and a half to get her confidence back up to
A
run
week and a
across
half
the
is
dog walk.
so good, though. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
at
Some
least-
dogs could get scared on a dog walk and like decide they never want to touch it ever
They're
again.
done. I'm not going
which
on
I was
this.
nervous about, because we went to another seminar the following weekend after this happened, and I was like, different facility, different club, we're going to be fine. And she wouldn't go near it. And I was like, oh, fuck.
But
And
then who fixed it for you?
Oh, Lindsay.
Of course.
Because we spent the time and I was like, listen, I'm just going to treat you like one of my brand new people. Like,
Yeah,
we're going to
and
walk
that's
across the
exactly what we
board.
did. It was so boring. But I also
It was so
realized...
boring. It took an hour.
I know, I
literally
know.
fixed her dog walk in an hour.
I
just
know.
FYI.
That's because she's amazing.
a miracle worker.
No,
A
I am.
miracle worker.
And what am I? Fucking idiot.
No, but no, that proved to me how important those foundations are. So like, that's something I'll do differently with my second dog, is like make sure that they know they can get on top of a dog walk and turn around and bail if they have to.
Right. So I think the biggest things is like, is not necessarily just like, oh, did you make your dog ever turn around on the dog walk? But it's more so understanding like the why behind everything. And that's really how I try to approach my foundations. Like, I try to tell my students all the time, like, if I'm telling you to do something and you don't understand why, please ask me. Because every time I'm explaining even just like the most like asinine thing, I try to explain to people, here's how this comes into play down the line.
And that's
Yeah.
the teacher in you.
Yeah,
Like, truly.
because I was a special education teacher. So I know how to I have to break things down to like the most tiny building block piece to help someone understand everything that goes into the final output, which is racing around a course. But I'm always telling people, like, if your dog won't treat the dog walk like it's a 5-year-old at a playground, like jump on, jump off, turn around, jump, like, you know, just be happy and confident on it, how do you ever expect that they're going to race across at full speed?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you know, there's all the debate about, should the dog walk be wider? Should it be lower? And like, yeah, all those things go into play. But in foundations, you have to do everything you can to prepare your dog for if
Right.
and when.
To set your dog up
Yeah.
to be the most successful that they can be.
And since we're talking about the dog walk, actually super recently in trials, Vision's been kind of pulling up short on his dog walk and not hitting like as deep as he was. And I noticed that when I like am training and I put him back up on the dog walk, he's been a little weird about turning around on it.
Really?
And so last night I had the dog walk lowered for my class, and I was like, I'm going to use him to demonstrate and see if he's still being weird on the low
Yeah.
dog walk. And he
Oh.
was.
He was?
Yeah, he would turn one direction, but not the other.
Interesting.
interesting.
Tessie did that too
Yeah.
when we were training her.
And like dogs can be one-sided like that. And I was like, oh my God, like maybe he lost a foot or who fucking knows what happened.
Yeah.
We
Right.
did foundations on his dog walk 3 years ago at this point. So who knows what it could have been. But when he wouldn't turn one direction and I was showing my students, I was like, actually, this is a good example. Like, see how he's looking kind of like shaky and he's kind of looking like he wants to bail and he's looking uncomfortable. Like, this tells me that there's a gap that I need to work on because I want him to be super confident. And like, yeah, I guess if you have like a Great Dane, like they might not be able to turn around on a full height dog walk.
Sure.
But I have a cane corso in my class that's over 150 pounds and I make them do sit, lie down, turn around, jump on, jump off on the low plank and the low dog walk
Yeah.
because that helps with that sure-footedness and confidence
Yeah.
and body awareness that's necessary for them to feel comfortable opening up and driving across the dog walk like you want them to.
Exactly.
We did that with Cassie when I was in Emily's foundation class, and we did all of that with Cassie, turning around, getting up on it, doing both sides. So
Yeah.
I also used the Cato plank too a lot.
Yeah.
And I put a climb on either end and had a little plank. And when he was a
yeah.
tiny little puppy, it was perfect for him to
That's
like
the
turn
first
around.
thing I did with you, Rachel, when Chessie's dog walk broke. I was like, yeah, we're not even actually going to go on the dog walk.
Yeah.
We're just going to put a plank between
Yeah.
two
And that's exactly
boards
what we did.
and
Yeah.
just like sit, lie down, turn around, get comfortable and confident racing
you
across.
could tell how uneasy she was with
Yeah.
just those simple tasks.
Just a board that
Yeah.
was like a foot off the ground, not
Yeah.
even. So, you know, when you never did that and no one ever told you to do that, and then something breaks down, you don't know what to go back to.
And you don't know how to fix
And
it.
you're just blessed that you have a friend with like a wealth of knowledge such as
so
myself.
blessed. So blessed and never stressed.
So I guess, you know, we've all learned our lesson about how important foundations are. Lizzie, do you want to talk about just how you approach foundations with Obi, maybe differently than with
Yeah,
Cassian? Like
yeah.
you learned from that and then
and still had issues.
and
But
yeah. I always say like with your first dog, you like fuck them up super bad. And then with
Yeah.
your second dog, you're like, okay, I'm not gonna fuck this up. And then
I still did.
you find some new and different way to fuck them up that you didn't even know was possible.
Yeah, it's true. So, with Obi, I joined a class and I had no intention of, I don't know what I was planning on doing. I was just doing it for fun. And then I realized, wow, this could be a lot more fun. And then dove head first, obviously. But the issue that I had with Obi, even at the very beginning, before we were really doing any type of sequencing, he bit me so bad all the time. Like if he was frustrated, immediate like mouth to the arm.
So
And
it was like when you're a novice handler and you're green and the dog's green, you make a lot of mistakes.
A lot of mistakes. So like I was covered in bruises.
And you're
like,
trying to do these like ugly rear crosses
or
or you're
figuring
just
out how
like
to do a bind.
Right.
your handling is all off and the time is off.
right.
And Obi was not super resilient
No,
about that. Instead, he was
no.
like
Yeah.
frustration biting you.
So, I was like, I don't know what to do. Nothing I'm doing is stopping the biting. And they'd be like, you need to figure this out. And I'm like, I don't know how to figure this out. So, I got all these tug toys, like get a tug toy, like, redirect him on the tug. And he still would just jump up and like miss the
Nail
tug
you.
and hit me. Like it wasn't helpful. And a lot of, I think, the Aussie biting is, the breed itself. What I've come to realize, but really it was it's frustration. B, it was over arousal. And I didn't have the instructor or
The knowledge.
or somebody else having the knowledge to help me understand like
And you
how
probably
to
didn't
fix
see
it.
other people getting bit.
No. No, I
So
did
you were
not.
like, wow, I must have a defective dog
right.
or be a defective person or both.
So it wasn't until I was at an EKC trial and, I had been trialing for I don't know how long, but I did a jumpers run. It was not horrible, but it wasn't great. Henry was actually with me and I walked out of the ring and I probably looked like I wanted to cry because in reality, I was trying to do as much as I can with the knowledge that I had. And I felt like I was getting nowhere. And a very dear friend took me aside and she's like, you had a great run. And I was like, no, I wasn't. It was terrible. He bit me. And she's like, I have a dog. All he did was bite me. And ever since then, we bonded over our dogs biting the shit out of us. And she's been such a great support person. But I did find trainers and eventually figured out how to solve the biting issue. And
so
then
how do you think that plays into his foundations? Do you think you rushed things? Do you think...
Yeah. We all know that I rushed things. I shouldn't have started trialing when I did. I shouldn't have started sequencing with him in class when I did. I didn't really do a whole lot of any foundations with him. It was literally, I did 2 foundation classes, which were get on the bowl, pivot, do a wrap around the cone, do a wrap around the wing. We would do the bang on a small teeter, do the low dog walk, and then I went to another facility and went right into a sequencing class.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
Just for reference, the students that I have, you start from day one in foundations, and some of my students spend over a year in my class before they ever get into an actual coursework class. I'm not saying we never sequence anything.
Right.
But we're not putting stuff together until you've mastered the individual obstacles. Because how can you put together pieces that are not complete? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, went into a sequencing class. It was horrible, but I stuck it out and did it anyways. My foundations were
teaches you a lot though.
Yeah.
So if you can look back at that, and I think most people who rush foundations will look back and be like, I should not have done that. And sometimes you just have to let people do what they're going to do, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then I got Cassie, and I will say I went through the foundations
thoroughly.
I did really well with his foundations. I think I taught things as well as I could. I took a lot of time. And then the thing with him is he was doing so well and it was going so great until we started doing harder things and then it all fell apart.
I also think too that you really thought I did my research and I got a good, well-bred Aussie and he has such a stable temperament that you thought there's no chance he'll jump up and nail me. Yeah. And alas, he did. Maybe even sometimes worse than Obi. I don't know. No, not worse than Obi.
Oh, no.
Oh.
No.
I guess I just wasn't there for the Obi days.
You were not there for the Obi was worse. Obi was way worse. Which I know is probably so surprising. But he was doing so well and he breezed through novice. He got his novice titles so quickly. And then all of a sudden we're in the harder levels and I'm making him do harder things. And he was
but also you yes, you took your time, but you took him to, as we said earlier, his very first trial when he was 15 months was nationals.
Yeah.
And that's a loud environment.
That's a crazy,
that's a crazy environment.
He didn't do bad though.
Okay, but you did say he did freak out in the confirmation ring.
He did.
So you might have been overfacing him a little bit.
No, for sure. But yeah.
Well, I think at that time you were kind of maybe thinking a little bit can Obi even continue to do agility because he's gotten injured so much? Right. So, I'm not saying anything bad, but you probably rushed a little bit because you were now Cassie's going to be my super solid, steady sport dog.
Yep. And we saw how that turned out. So here I am.
Yeah. So I don't know. We all had our own journey through foundations. And the reason I started teaching foundations is I've said, I got dog after dog after dog. And I took the class 4 times in a row, basically.
You were an expert by then.
So I really appreciated the methodical nature of how foundations builds on one another. And I just really love teaching it. And I don't know, we said we would talk about some pet peeves and I can get into a little bit and I'm curious what your thoughts are on these. But I think one of the biggest things, and I was this person, is how many of my students, you have a class of 5-6 people, and many of my students come once a week, and the, 4 minutes they have to like work on the weave poles or work on their running A-frame like behavior, that kind of thing. Like that's the only time they work on those things. So they don't have the equipment at home and they don't rent. And like when I started classes, I lived an hour from my training facility, and
you weren't going there on the weekends?
I wasn't coming up there to spend money to do stuff by myself that I barely even knew how to do with an instructor there. So yeah, I was just annoyed that I wasn't making progress. I want to trial, but I really wasn't putting in the time. So I would say like, as much as you can doing your homework outside of class. And I can tell a big difference with the students who actually do some of the things that you can do at home outside of class. And I always try to tell them like, this is homework. And, here's like, I don't have this, but you could use like a waste basket, or you can use like,
there's so many household items you can use as training.
Or I'll say like, okay, maybe you don't have the money to go buy a Fit Paws, but you could go on Facebook Marketplace and buy like a human exercise equipment that is very similar, and just make sure you're doing it safely, that kind of thing. So that's like one little pet peeve, no shade to my students. So I think my other big pet peeve from teaching is just people who maybe get real serious and or frustrated with their dog way too quickly. And they do forget that foundations and the whole sport in general should be really fun for the dog. Like I have people who just seem like super hard on themselves, and it's a lot of pressure, and maybe you're like frustrated that your dog's acting a little naughty. But I think at the end of the day, like, just have a good attitude about it. And I always try to tell people like, yes, in foundations, we're doing all these discrete skills, and they're like, do it this way, and I want to get it right. But it's like, don't forget to make them like run and have a good time too while doing it.
Reward your dog.
And I guess like one final little pet peeve is people who don't really understand that even if you're just doing it for fun and you never want to compete, and, you're not going to be like trying out for a world team, like it's still a really difficult physical activity for the dog.
For the dogs, yeah.
And you can't be maybe feeding your dog what the bag says.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can't.
If I fed Chelsea what the bag says.
Yeah.
Oh
She'd
my
be 50
God.
pounds, probably. Yeah.
I mean, I like, it's always awkward when you have new to the sport people, or just new to dog sports in general. And you're like, hey, your dog's like a little overweight. And they're like, oh yeah, I know. Like my husband won't listen when I say what to feed her. And sometimes people get offended. It's almost like telling them like, oh, your dog's ugly. Like, I don't think they're ugly. I'm just saying like, we're doing this high impact sport, and like the extra weight could be really difficult for them. It's nothing personal. And like, they get a little offended. And I remember when I first started, my first instructors told me.
My first instructor, told me Obi was fat.
Yeah,
he was
me
61
Zuby was fat.
pounds.
I mean, Obi was fat. The fat Obi pictures are funny. But Zuby, I mean, she's a French bulldog. Like, what do you want from her, bro? Like,
anyways,
and like, but at the end of the day, I didn't do fitness. I fed her probably what the bag said. So I was like, I can't believe she would say that. But now I say that to students. And this one girl, I told her, and she was like, oh my God, like after you told me that, I went home and I looked, and I was feeding her what the bag said twice a day. She didn't realize that the bag was for the whole day. And I was like, oh no. But, if I hadn't said anything, like if I had felt too awkward to say, here's what I think is best for the dog, like I'm glad that I'm proud of myself for saying that. I'm proud of myself that it helped her get her dog to a great place. And now she's taking it more seriously and trialing like a couple years down the line. And like, I'm glad that focus on nutrition, even though I'm no expert on nutrition, like paid off for her. Or just people who I'm like, you need to do some conditioning. Your dog's knocking bars, like get into a conditioning routine, even if it's just little basic stuff. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Like, I know you're not like, your dog's not going to the equivalent of agility NFL. They don't need to be like, a pro athlete, but you can't expect them to do these athletic things without some degree of conditioning.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
We just invited these young women who started a new business called Canine Performance Unleashed, and we can share their social media to have some fitness and conditioning workshops at my training facility, and I thought it was really, really awesome. But I was like a little bummed because registrations were like not as high as I would want them because it's not as sexy. Like it doesn't pull in the people. Like,
no, it does not.
People will spend their money trialing all weekend, but won't spend their money going to something like that to learn the foundations of good fitness or what it takes for an agility dog to really be able to pivot and pick their feet up and do all these obstacles at full
Turn
speed.
tight, you know?
So anyway, just sharing a few of my little pet peeves when it comes to training. It's nothing bad. It's really just like people don't know what they don't know. No one's doing it maliciously or with bad intent.
No, for sure. Especially like novice A people or green handlers.
Yeah, totally. So I guess let's talk about like if someone were just getting started or maybe moving to a new area, like what do you think would be some things people should look for or a red flag if they're getting started in a foundation class? Like what would be your criteria if you were looking for a new agility foundation?
Zoom room.
The Zoom room is the red flag.
Yeah, the Zoom room in a whole is a red flag for sure.
Have you guys ever been to one?
No.
Oh, I went to one in Philly. Yeah, with Zuby.
I'm not even surprised.
Oh my
Well,
God.
there was literally
You
when I
lived
had
in
to
the city and you were doing agility, so like where else are you going to go?
Yeah, I lived in the city and I did drive up to my club, which I said was over an hour, and the Zoom room was 10 minutes away.
Yeah,
I mean, I knew it was like fake, and I would go there and be like, I take real agility classes, and they were like, we don't care.
We don't care.
But like, I don't know, like it does provide an activity for people to do with their dogs in busy cities, but the way they teach things is
A little
Questionable.
ludicrous.
Yeah.
I would say.
I think and what they let people get away with there. They'll be like, here, let's set up like 3 jumps at 24 inches. My dog should only jump 16, but they're like, let's just do it anyways because it'll be fun for Instagram.
Call it a triple jump.
For fuck's sake, stop. You're going to kill your dog.
I know. That's really the whole thing. And like at the facility I teach at, we had to put some pretty strict parameters on who could even rent our facility because people were like coming
And bringing friends.
filming themselves doing unsafe shit. And it's like, no. We do not want our facility to be represented like that on the
Especially when you're
internet.
posting it on social media.
Like, oh yeah, let's put 3 dogs at a time over the A-frame for a funny video, or like keeping their leash on while they go over the A-frame so they can fall and fucking hang themselves. Like, are you joking?
Yeah,
So,
I think going off of the Zoom room, though, like as far as facilities go, I think, it's letting dogs that are green or starting in foundations, like go on all the equipment.
I mean, the
leash.
equipment's lower, at least the one I went to. Like the A-frame was like knee height.
I'm not talking about Zoom rooms. I'm talking about actual agility training facilities.
for sure.
When like you sign up for like say a foundations class or even a foundations 2 class, and they're just letting the dogs go on all the equipment.
I know.
on leash.
No, oh my God.
It kills me. And then they wonder. And then I guess I'll say this, and this is like 2 parts of a pet peeve, but you have that type of training and facility where they allow that, and then people will get further and further along in their training journey, and then they start trialing, and they'll be like, oh my God, my dog walk's broken, but we worked on it so much, and it's like, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Because you didn't really have a foundation for it.
Yeah.
Or like my teeter, like they jump off the teeter.
Yeah.
Well, you got on first day of class when you first started.
I know.
And you didn't really hold criteria either. And the instructor isn't holding that person and their dog to criteria and letting them get away with it.
Well, they
true.
have no criteria.
That boils my fucking blood.
I had a student who came to one session of foundations and then went on a summer vacation for a while, like probably most of the summer, and found a place to train there, and like sent me an email and was like, oh yeah, like we're doing the A-frame and blah blah blah, and I'm like okay, like this is not your fault at all. Like, no shade to her whatsoever. But like, when you come back, we will not be doing the A-frame. Just FYI, like we will not be doing the A-frame for quite some time because you need to do. And her dog, like this is the dangerous part, is that like Chessie, her dog catches on fast, and she's really super smart, and like the lady's still learning a lot, and the dog's kind of fearless. But it's like, when we got her on the seesaw, she was a little nervous of it. So like there's stuff like that where it's like, could you like scare your dog and create this like lifelong potentially bad reaction or association with certain equipment?
You can.
Yeah.
And I don't think people like realize that. Or if they do, they just don't care.
And like you said, like letting things slide in class or like letting bad criteria, letting the dog get away with it. Sometimes I do feel like a dick. Like, where I'm like, make them go back. They didn't hold it. And the person's like, I just want to do the exercise.
Yeah, but like
just
that's
wanna
gonna
get
bite
through
you in the
it.
fucking ass when you start trialing.
I know.
I see it all the time on Instagram. I really, really do. And they're like, oh, I don't know why this is happening. And I'm like, oh, I do.
Yeah.
What do you see when you're posting your class videos? Because I see why.
Yeah. I've even had a student who was like, no, I don't mind if my dog like releases on my motion.
You
and
will.
I'm like, but how can the dog generalize? Like if sometimes you want it to wait when you're swinging your arm, but other times you're okay with it going when you're swinging your arm while you walk away, like the dog can't read your mind.
Yeah.
You know? Or like, what if you need to do some weird thing to get in position at the start line and your dog reads that as this obscure body language that you've used to release them? Like, it's just not clear.
Right. Exactly.
And you're going to get in trouble with it. And I feel like an asshole sometimes trying to like debate that with people. And at certain points, sometimes I'm just like, okay, it's up to you. Like, this is what I would do, but I'm not the be all end all. Like, there's certain things where I'm like, I'll do it this way. But sometimes you just got to let people do what they're going to do.
I guess so. Yeah. But I don't know.
Okay, I have a question. Do you think that there's a difference of what a foundations class should be like if someone is getting into agility because they really want to do it competitively versus people who just want to do agility for fun, quote unquote, or like a pet person?
No. And I say that because at the end of the day, the foundation is what? It's the foundation of it. So like you can choose where you want to go from there. Like if you want to like train for a world team, if you want to train for just trialing on the weekends at your local clubs, but you should always have a good foundation because it'll set your dog for whatever you choose to do up to be successful, you know, not injure the dog. You have a better understanding of like what exactly you are supposed to be doing, how to handle. I think agility in the past couple of years has really grown. It has become a lot more popular. There's a lot more facilities opening up, a lot of questionable facilities opening up, but I see a lot more people trying to get involved in agility, which I think is great. I think that, you know, doing things with your dog is great, but I see a lot of people going out there and they just really don't look like they know how to handle their dog through a course. And like, yeah, their dog is doing the obstacles and it might not be like the best A-frame you see or the best dog walk. And like their jumping skills might not be 100%, you know, like what we would want to see from our dogs. But like the biggest thing I see is handling. And like, you're not going to be able to understand how to handle your dog if you're not going to like a good foundation class in agility. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
No, that's interesting. I mean, I wonder if agility is getting more popular by volume, or you just mean that you're seeing it play out more on social media.
Yeah,
like more younger people are getting into it and it's becoming like a niche community on the internet. Like I had a dog Instagram back in 2013 when I got Zuby, and like dog Instagram was just like pets, and there really was, at least what I could see, like there was no like dog sport community on Instagram.
I think that's grown in the past couple of years
and
for sure.
There's that danger of like what you talked about, like the clout chasing or like piecing together a really fun reel or like, you know, showing agility bloopers that are like, haha, so funny, but actually like, oh my God, your dog could be like hurting itself.
Yeah.
And that's not cute or funny. So it's interesting that you say that. But I guess I would say like the reason, like I've had students who say like, no, we're just doing this for fun. Like we're not taking that seriously. And then I'm still strict about everything is because like that person walking through the door could be me.
Yeah.
Like I walked in the door with an off-breed, quote unquote, and just wanting to do agility for fun, not ever really thinking about competing. I just thought it was like a cool thing. And now like 10 years later, I'm obsessed. I'm an instructor. I'm, you know, competing at the highest levels in the country. And like, you want to treat everybody the same, basically. Like you could be that person or you could just do it for funsies, but I still want you to have a good, safe, and well-educated experience.
Like, I never thought that I would be doing the things I'm doing with a Pembroke Welsh Corgi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
I thought I was going to be a weekend warrior and just do local AKC trials
Yeah.
and just work towards mocks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like, she's opened a whole new door for me. But like, I'm one of those people
Yeah.
where like, I didn't expect that. But, you
Also,
know,
same.
And I think that another thing that gets under my skin, and this is actually like one of the first conversations Lizzie and I ever had, was people who don't teach their dogs to jump.
Yeah.
So
that is one of your biggest pet peeves.
yeah, I mean, it's just really interesting to me. Like, I've really only gone through foundations at my facility who uses the Linda Mecklenburg methodology of teaching jumping skills.
Yeah.
And I live by it. Like, I call that book my Bible because it works. Like, I've
It does.
scarcely had a dog in my classes or for myself where I don't find those jumping drills to be beneficial, but they're very boring. They're
Yeah.
boring as shit.
Yeah.
And I can understand why some places don't teach them for that reason. And I think other places, like, they just teach jumping through offering kind of thing. Like,
yeah. I think people don't quite understand that jumping is a trained skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not all dogs are natural jumpers. Aussies jump flat. That's something that's known.
Yeah.
I had to teach
See, I
Jessie
think
how to-
Aussies jump springy. Like,
Well,
they do that,
Obi
like,
doesn't.
spring.
Obi
That's
doesn't.
fair. Obi's a little
Like
of
that
a flat
little
jumper.
spider jump, like, bling. Like, they kind of get springy.
I think it depends on the Aussie, but
That's
Obi
true.
is the flattest flat jumper you'll ever see.
But yeah, jumping is a trained skill for a dog, especially if they're not a natural jumper.
But you have to teach, like, the mechanics of how to move your body that way, especially in collection jumping. Like, I can see that you can probably get most dogs to offer extension jumping.
yeah. Yeah.
But collection jumping and teaching them to, like, chip in and add that extra stride is more challenging. So the first time I ever met Lizzie, we were at a CPE trial and I was the trial secretary, and she just, like, I'm fucking busy at the computer exploring
busy
and
at
all
the
this
computer.
shit.
Told her to go up and ask you, though.
Well, isn't that nice that someone told her to bother me? Just
Yeah,
kidding.
how dare I?
But she came up and she was like, shoved her phone in my face and was like, "Look at this video. He's knocking all these bars. Like, why do you think he's knocking all these
I
bars?"
did it just like that, too.
No, you were probably really nice.
Yeah.
But I was like annoyed, and I was like, "Did you
You're
ever?"
such a bitch.
Well, I was like, "Did you ever teach him to jump? Here you are asking for my free fucking advice."
Oh my God.
Like, I'll invoice you later. And then she was like,
Here
"No."
you are sitting on my couch in my
Yeah,
house.
in your house.
I'll invoice you later.
eating your food and drinking your drinks.
Yeah.
But she was like, "No, I never taught him to jump." And it's like, you know, poor you. You didn't know what you
Yeah.
didn't know. But, you know, then I took you over and I showed you, I literally, like, at the trial on the practice jump, like,
Yeah.
showed you a few jumping drills. And then I went over to, like, our Linda Mecklenburg poster and I was like, "See this? Like, you need to read this book and you need to, like, do these things." And, you know, it just, like, it always shocks me when
What
people
did
are
I
like,
do with Cassian, though?
"Yeah, you did all the things.
Yeah.
You took classes and you took private lessons with me
Yeah.
and we did all the drills." And, like,
Yeah.
it makes a big difference. And I think that,
And Cassie is such a good jumper. He rarely knocks bars.
yeah,
so.
he is a good jumper. He really is a nice jumper. And I think that goes a long way too. And a lot of people just think, oh, like, dogs will see jumps in their face and take jumps, or
Yeah,
like,
because they're like, oh, we'll go on a hike and the dog will jump over a log.
That's the number one thing
Cool.
people say to me. It's like,
Awesome.
it's
Great.
like almost a script. Like, people, I'm like, "Oh, so, like, why did you sign up for the class?" Or like, "What are you interested in agility?" And they're like, "Oh, my dog, like, loves to jump over logs in the forest, and she's always jumping on the couch and on the bed." And I'm
She's such a good jumper.
I'm
So
like-
obviously she has to do agility. She's going to be
Obviously.
a perfect agility dog.
"Yeah, sure. Jumping on the
sure.
couch, that'll very well translate." But I mean, I understand. Like, they're just basically saying that their dog is energetic, which
Yeah.
I get it. But it's just so funny. Everyone says the same thing.
Yeah,
which I
they
think is
all
cute.
do. All do.
So anyway, that's my last pet peeve, probably. But
It's not our last, but it's
Well,
the last one we'll share. I
last
guess.
one about this specifically. So I guess, Lizzie, what do you think is, like, your hot tip, your big takeaway when it comes to foundations? What would you leave our listeners with?
You know, I'm gonna just reflect on the breed that I have, and I feel for my breed personally and like what I've experienced, you have to put the work in. You have to take things slow. You have to be patient. Don't rush things. And like with my dogs, I wish I did this with Obi, but like once I realized Cassie was having the issues that he was having, I did stop trialing, and I put the
and you
work
got
in.
so serious
I
about
did.
putting work in,
Yeah.
like, on
I went to trials
Control
and
Unleashed
yep.
and doing your pattern games and
doing
doing
all my pattern
behaviorists.
games. Yep. And I did all of
did
that
workshops
stuff.
and seminars about like focus and arousal.
Yep. And I did a lot of FEO before
you
I
did.
even went back to
That's
trialing
true.
him for real.
Yeah.
I think it was crazy too, like how many people would reach out to you because you share a lot.
Oh, I do.
Which is a double-edged sword, but you would share a lot and people would be like, oh my God, like how'd you fix it? My dog did that. And then you'd be like, I did this, and this. And they're like, yeah. I don't think that's going to work for me. And it's like, all right, well then good luck.
Yeah. I think a
God
lot
bless.
of people also like, they hear Control Unleashed and think it's like just for reactive dogs or
That's
just for
true,
like,
yeah.
it's like, no, like Cassie's a great dog.
Yeah.
Like he's not reactive in the
No,
slightest.
he's
He's
not.
an amazing little dog. He's so happy all the time. But like there was an issue in agility and those games
like
worked for him.
reprogrammed his brain.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason that's like one of the most popular books.
Yeah.
Shout out to
it
Leslie
worked
McDevitt.
so well for him. So I think like, and it really can go for any dog, like any dog that has arousal issues or frustration or like doing those behaviors that is showing that frustration.
Yeah.
Like don't just think it's going to magically go away. You have to put work in because otherwise it's just going to get worse and you're just going to get more frustrated and it's not going to be fun for either of you. And agility should be fun, Summer should be fun. Agility should be fun.
I'll jump in and say mine is similar, like keep it fun. Like I have scarcely had many students where I've like asked them to leave my class, but the ones that I have to ask the person, I'm not even asked to leave the class. Like I've had someone be like, do you think I should keep going? And I'm like, you have to ask yourself, am I having fun? Is the dog having fun?
Yeah.
And if the answer to that is ever no, like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like, this is not mandatory. This is a luxury. Okay. This is like,
This is a hobby you pay for.
this.
this is not life or death. And it should be fun. And like the dog should be openly, visibly having a good time and try to educate them on having a relationship with you and a connection and wanting to work with you, not just like doing tricks
Which
and
is my
doing
favorite thing
obstacles.
about dog sports in general is just the connection and the bond that I have with my dog.
Yeah.
Like to be able to go into a rally ring one dropping class
Yeah.
and get a 95 out of 100. I know I'm going to keep bragging about it because I'm
She's
just so
never
happy.
going to shut the door.
But like it's because we have that connection and that bond and like working with each other. Like we're a team. And that
Exactly.
is so important to me.
I think it just feels kind of like magic. Like I feel like
It is magic.
me and Vision like share a soul when we're out there.
Yeah.
And, like it just feels like a beautiful like dance. Like I feel like I'm on Dancing with the Stars. And we're just like so in sync and everything's going well and it looks pretty and it feels pretty and it's just like that's just the super magical part. So, but it doesn't happen by accident.
No.
Like,
You have to
can't
put
just
in the work.
throw them out there and hope for the best. Like you're going to be dance partners who are stepping on each other's toes if you don't put the work in and get in sync. So yeah, that's what we recommend. We basically recommend, I don't know, a little highlight reel of like patience when you say
a lot of
consistency.
Yes.
Doing your homework outside of class.
Yeah.
Like you have to do your homework. And it could just be like simple drills, but you guys have to do stuff outside of class
And not
to be
just the
successful.
skills work either, like the fitness and the conditioning, nutrition and
like Rachel and I
exercise.
wouldn't have been able to bring our dogs back after their injuries and have them do as well as they've been doing
If we didn't
did not work on conditioning.
Yeah. Or
Like,
even just
Obi was out for 8 months.
Yeah. Or even people who like they're getting started and they work at work and then they rush home and their dog's been at home all day and they throw their dog in the car and then they race to class and they barely potty the dog and then they walk in carrying all their shit and the dog like losing it on the way in and it's like, that was a lot for your dog.
Yeah.
Like, you have to kind of put some effort into their, just exercise and stimulation and mental state before you're rushing into it. And then, I think we talked a lot about too, like, look around, find different trainers. You both trained a lot of different places and still continue to.
I think I counted. I've trained under like instructor-wise, like 7 different people.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I've been doing agility for 5 years almost.
I am whenever anyone asks me, I'm the biggest supporter of switching instructors if you feel like you have outgrown your instructor. It is a real thing.
Yeah.
That is a real thing. I've had so many different instructors and they've all taught me so many different things. But yeah, sometimes you outgrow people and you just need a new perspective, and it's so important. So
totally.
yeah.
But I love talking about foundations because it's near and dear to my heart. Like, as much as I say, oh, pet peeve or this drives me crazy, like, I love it. Like, it's so fun seeing the progress and the smiles on people's faces, and the dog that came in, like, quaking in their boots and is now super confident, and the light bulb goes off, or someone who walks in off the street with no knowledge and their dog just has, like, a lot of talent, or it's like, oh, I can tell you could be actually a really good handler one day. Like, I don't know. It's just really cool to see all those magic moments, or, you know, even the people who are like, I'm just straight up doing this for fun, and they genuinely are. Like, I love that, and that's what I hope all my students walk away with. So I hope I didn't offend anyone. It's really like, I love you all. I love teaching green people because that was me not that long ago, and I have so much empathy for your mindset, and every mistake anyone has ever made, like, I promise I've probably made it. So that's why I love this level, and I love just how important it is to spend the time on the foundation. So.
Yeah, it might seem boring, but it will definitely pay off in the long term. So
totally
worth it. But yeah, that was so fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a different episode, but yeah, we hope you enjoyed it.
And I'll also just say, like, I'm no expert. We're no experts. We're still just dumb bitches. We're just dumbass bitches who, I kind of know what I'm talking about a little bit, but, you know,
I
still
know
consult.
Don't listen to me.
Consult with the professionals in your life when it comes to foundations too, and ask around and ask good questions. Like, you don't have to take my word for it, but hopefully we left you with some good advice. Well, that's a wrap on this week's episode. Rachel, where can our listeners find us on the internet?
You can find us at Bitches in Season on Instagram and TikTok, and on Facebook, Bitches in Season with a 1 in it.
Oh, stupid Facebook makes us have a 1 in the word bitches.
And you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.